Welcome class to lesson 2. It is about effects of volcanicity to man or to the economy of a country. These effects are both positive and negative. Better we begin with positive effects. Number 1, volcanic rocks are used for constructing roads and houses. If you visit our districts of Musanze, Burera, Nyabihu, you will find people building their houses and constructing roads using volcanic rocks. Number 2, volcanic features, for example, craters, calderas, attract tourists, and tourists come in with foreign exchange. Number 3, volcanic lakes promote fishing and navigation. Navigation means water transport. Next, volcanic soils are fertile, and this means they support crop cultivation. And therefore, people from volcanic regions produce more food because their soils are fertile. Next, volcanic or volcanoes contain pastures for animal grazing. Volcanic mountains contain pastures for animal grazing. Next, volcanic features promote research and fieldwork. There are good sites where, for example, students of geography can visit and carry out research, especially about the other features we discussed: extrusive features and intrusive features. Next, volcanic regions promote mining and quarrying, extraction of rocks and minerals. Next, volcanic lakes provide water for home use or domestic use and industrial use. Industries can get water from these crater lakes, water for cooling machines, for cleaning, and some industries use water as a raw material. And on top of that, that water can be used for domestic use: washing, drinking, cleaning, etc. Next, volcanoes are homes of wild animals and hence conserve wildlife. That's why we have our gorillas in Rwanda staying in volcanoes in Musanze. Next, forests in volcanic regions promote lumbering, and lumbering is a commercial economic activity. It generates income. Next, volcanic mountains modify climate. There is a type of rainfall called relief rainfall, which forms in areas with steep mountains. So, volcanoes help in the formation of this relief rainfall. That's why people of Musanze, Burera, Nyabihu, Rubavu always receive rainfall throughout the year. Then we have lava-dammed lakes promote leisure time. Not only lava-dammed lakes, even these volcanoes, even other features we saw in lesson 1 can promote leisure time because of their good sceneries. People go there for leisure, for pleasure, relaxation. Volcanic features, example, mountains act as international boundaries between countries. They separate countries. There are demarcations for different countries. For example, Karisimbi separates, or it is in at the border with Rwanda and the DRC. Muhabura at the border with Rwanda and Uganda. Next, volcanic features, for example, hot springs and geysers, provide geothermal energy. Hot springs are a source of human medicine. People with skin diseases, bone diseases can go and bathe in a hot spring because this water contains many minerals like calcium for hardening the bones. So people can go and visit hot springs, swim in hot springs, and they get their diseases healed. Next, volcanic regions favor conditions for settlement because in geography we say the higher you go, the cooler it becomes, and these cold regions are free from vectors. For example, mosquitoes, which spread malaria. That's why malaria is always common in Eastern Province, where we have the whole province flat. It is very hot. And when you visit our northern region and western region, people are free from malaria because conditions don't favor the growth of mosquitoes. Next, volcanic mountains are water catchment areas. They are sources of rivers, and therefore people who stay there always have water. The drainage is okay. They don't suffer from water problems. Water catchment areas. And in our science of geography, we say rivers flow from highlands to lowlands. So volcanic mountains are sources of rivers. They are water catchment areas. They even contain crater lakes. Next, volcanic mountains are good sites for boosters and antennas. Boosters, antennas. I think the tallest antenna we have in Rwanda is on top of Mount Karisimbi, for tapping waves, radio waves, TV waves. Volcanic highlands, we are going to negative side. This is the negative side. Volcanic highlands hinder road construction because it is expensive and almost impossible to construct roads climbing those mountains. Next, volcanic highlands hinder settlements because they are steep and people fear soil erosion, landslides, mass wasting. Volcanic highlands promote soil erosion. This is obvious. Volcanic eruptions lead to loss of people. This is also obvious. The last time when Nyiragongo was erupting, people were migrating. They got displaced. Even others entered the Rwandan side. Volcanic eruptions increase government expenditure, especially when it comes to catering for people after being displaced by eruptions. And eruptions will still destroy crops and farms. And finally, these people will become poor, and the government will need at least to compensate, and it uses a lot of money. Volcanic eruptions lead to air and sound pollution. During eruptions, there is steam. There are fumes which join the atmosphere and pollute it, or pollute the air. It can even cause poor visibility. The aeroplanes may not fly because the atmosphere is polluted. And remember, when eruptions are taking place, especially violent eruptions, sound pollution may also come in. Volcanic features are homes of dangerous animals. Take an example of caves in Musanze. These were formed as a result of volcanic eruptions. There are snakes inside. Some other dangerous animals may hide there. And on top of that, we have gorillas in Virunga National Park. Those ones are not friendly to man. There are other animals staying in those bushes and forests on volcanic highlands. Next, volcanic eruptions lead to displacement of people. People migrate and they are displaced. Some even remain homeless. Next, volcanic eruptions lead to destruction of infrastructures like roads. If eruptions come and rocks are rolling towards the valley and they are deposited on the road, they destroy the road. They can also hit other infrastructures like hospitals, schools, etc. Next, volcanic eruptions destroy crops, and this leads to famine. Very obvious. Volcanic regions are homes of rebels, and this may increase insecurity in an area. They are good hiding places for rebels. Next, volcanic regions attract earthquakes because when eruptions are taking place, there is what we call rock displacement. And when rocks are displacing or are being displaced, they cause earthquakes. Then we have volcanic regions promote mass wasting and landslides because they are steep. Next, volcanic regions are very cold and may discourage settlements. Though we said they are good areas to settle in because they are cold and free from vectors, however, these areas might not be friendly to people who are not used to cold conditions. For example, people who are used to live in Bugesera may find it very hard and almost impossible to go and begin a new life in Burera because Burera is very cold. Next, volcanic eruptions cause trauma. After causing mass destruction of crops, killing people, destroying infrastructures, houses of people, farms and gardens of people, the owners may be traumatized. Then volcanic eruptions cause poverty. They cause what? Poverty. Because they destroy people's property. And one can even say they lead to economic what? Decline. Thank you very much.